The 10 non-permanent members of the UN Security Council are once again targeting Israel, this time accusing the country of creating a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Now, this comes as Israel has reopened crossings into the enclave over the past 30 days and stepped up measures to ease conditions, with President Biden standing by his commitment to continue supporting Israel. Our correspondent Emily Francis has the details.
Outgoing President Joe Biden is doubling down before his term ends by not withholding weapons to Israel. This as the deadline passes to address the humanitarian aid crisis to Gazans.
We at this time have not made an assessment that that the Israelis are in violation of U.S. law. But most importantly, we are going to continue to watch how these steps that they've taken, how they are being implemented.
Israeli President Yitzhak Herzog met President Biden yesterday at the White House, thanking him for his support of Israel since the October 7th massacre.
Welcome back to the Oval Office in the White House. You've been a friend for a long time, a personal friend, and you know my commitment to Israel is ironclad, and we share a deep friendship. I want to thank you again for being here, and the floor is yours.
As we say in Hebrew, Toda Rabba. You've been an incredible friend of Israel and the Jewish people for decades, and we will never forget, ever in history, how you stood up with us in our darkest hour.
At the same time, a less friendly environment at the United Nations in New York. Envoys from various countries addressed the UN Security Council yesterday, condemning Israel for an alleged humanitarian disaster in Gaza and proposing a resolution demanding an immediate ceasefire.
Most of Gaza is now a wasteland of rubble. What distinction was made and what precautions were taken if more than 70% of civilian housing is either damaged or destroyed? This has led to increasing hunger, starvation, and now, as we have heard, potentially famine.
Israeli lawmakers in the Knesset passed a law earlier this month limiting operations of the UNRWA Palestinian Aid Agency in Israel, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. This as UNRWA volunteers are being investigated for their involvement in the October 7th massacre.
Israel has taken some important steps, including restoring aid deliveries to the north. Still, Israel must ensure its actions are fully implemented and its improvements sustained over time.
Israel insists it has delivered life-saving humanitarian aid, including allowing a polio vaccination campaign for over 500,000 Gazan children.
We need to see real and extended pauses in large areas of Gaza, pauses in any fighting, in any combat, so that the assistance can effectively get to people who need it.
As for food and supplies, Israeli authorities say Hamas operatives continue to raid and steal what's meant for civilians.
It is an exercise in slander, disguised as humanitarian concern. The IPC's latest report echoes one of the most unfounded, slanderous accusations against the state of Israel throughout this conflict.
Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, insists that the figures show the humanitarian situation in Gaza has improved substantially in recent months.
Israel has been proactive in supporting Gaza's food supply chain, with 3 million pita loaves produced daily. Additionally, 6 tankers of cooking gas have recently entered Gaza to sustain essential infrastructure.